sonando, por favor, con audífonos. So we're live. Welcome, everyone. We will begin shortly. No. Hello, testing sound 1 2. Testing sound 1 2. Welcome, everyone. We will begin in a couple of minutes. Let's just give our guests 5 more minutes to come in. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Steven B here. You can see it on my screen right bottom corner. Well, it's 2 o'clock today, Tuesday, August the 8th. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We're very, very happy and honored to have you on this webinar. Remember, if you have any questions, just leave them on the box in the comments, and we'll try to answer them at the very, very end. So my name is Steven Bigio. I'm account director at Asylum Marketing. There's my email. If you want to shoot me any questions or comments after the webinar, I'll be happy to reply them on my email. Also, my Twitter and Instagram, you can see them on the right bottom of my screen. And today, I'm very, very happy to share with you this webinar called from ABC, all about closing to all about helping, which is a webinar that is dedicated to talk about inbound marketing and the new techniques to generate demand online Okay, so remember my email, SB, here you can see it on screen, at asylummarketing.com. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Also, on the right box on YouTube, you can leave the questions and I will answer them at the very, very end. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin. So let's start with the objectives. We like to also, everything we do to set objectives and make sure that we deliver at the very end. So let's talk about why inbound marketing is so relevant and so important these days in demand generation online. And then objective number 2 is to help you think about demand generation from a different perspective. And then also to think as like a CEO or even as a CFO in terms of the return of investment and how much money are you putting into digital, into your digital efforts, and how much money are you getting back. You know, social media and everything we know as new media is not about awareness anymore. It's about conversion. It's about measuring. It's about attribution. It's about recommendation. And this webinar is to help you understand and help you see digital not as an awareness channel or not as an awareness platform, but as a conversion platform, as we do it here at Asylum Marketing with some of our clients in the US and Latin America. So the agenda for this webinar, I'm going to try to cover 5 very simple sections and then answer some questions at the very, very end. So we're going to talk from macro to micro in the very beginning, and I will get into that in a bit. Our challenge was, demand generators, not only as an agency, but also helping our partners and clients to actually deliver more than impressions, actually, results with digital marketing efforts. The solution to that challenge, we're going to talk about some best practices and some things we've discovered throughout the years here at the agency and some external cases as well, and additional takeaways. I would love to show you a couple of metrics panels to show you that we're actually creating demand for some of our clients and even one of our companies here at Asylum through digital media and especially social media. You guys ready? Remember, if you have any comments, if you want to share this link, feel free to. You can just copy the link and put it on your social platforms, your LinkedIn. We want more people to come or even to actually watch this webinar after it's done. So guys, from macro to micro, why do we create companies, or why do we work for companies, or even more, why do companies exist? Why? Because we have a product, we have a service, and then we have clients that are willing to pay for those services or products. And obviously, at the end, we want to make a profit out of that. That's essentially the roadmap on why companies exist. I have something, there is someone who needs that something, I put a price, and people come and pay or not for that product or service. That's basically the trade model, the most essential trade model that exists for hundreds of years now, correct? But there are 2 sides of that coin, because the way we used to do marketing and the way we used to sell was essentially communicating what we had back in the day, and people would rather decide whether they need what I had or not, and if they had the money to pay for that thing I had for them. Essentially, it's demand. I have something, you have the money, come and get it or not. That was essentially what we're doing. But what happens today, guys, is that selling is getting more expensive. Digital is getting oversaturated. People know more about your category than even you do. If you go to a car dealership, or if you go to buy a soda, you're going to get a ticket for your next trip. You have multiple options, and more than even the salesman about the car, more about the tickets, offers, more than a travel agency, because everything is in the palm of your hand with the phones and websites these days. So selling is not really that easy these days. Back in the day, it was just a price war. If you were cheap and good, people would buy you. Now consumers know more about your brand even than yourself. So it's getting challenging and it's getting expensive to sell, and there's multiple channels and audiences are migrating from one channel to another. So once you are on Facebook, then they go to Snapchat. Once you deliver or difficult and way more challenging. And the purpose of this webinar and everything we do at Asylum is actually anticipate those moves from our audiences and not only follow the trends, but also try to create demand generation cycles with relevant content and with relevant solutions, because we know how to deliver content and solutions based on problems and not based on offers or products. And that's one of the keys to inbound: generate awareness with solutions and generate awareness with value. So they actually not only buy you, but recommend you and do repurchase your product or service. So, well, as I was saying a few slides ago, the ABC logic is always be closing. As you know, everything we try to do every day is just sell, sell, sell. But we do believe this is switching, this is changing. People don't want to be sold to. People don't want to be considered as targets anymore. People won't need to be helped. You don't go and search products for your hair. You go and search for tips to actually get your hair better for a party on Friday. And that's how the logic of the user is changing. They're not obviously searching for products, they're searching for solutions. But the big question for you guys is, are we delivering those solutions, or are we still delivering delivering products and services instead of actually giving them a solution, right? So everything, like I was saying before, everything is actually getting, there are essentially two challenges to generating demand online these days. First is that selling is getting super expensive. The cost per acquisition is going higher and higher. If you actually look at what you have to invest in order to sell, is getting higher than before. Before it was easier to sell. And then another big challenge these days is the lifetime value of the clients is going down, because there are too many offers and there are too many competitors, and there's always some new players coming in. If you think about it, back in the day, the time of your competitive advantage was way longer. Like if you came out with a new product, that new product or service would be relevant for a longer time than today. What happens today is that thanks to technology, and this is one of the bad things about the internet, is that you can get copied and emulated really quick. People see that you're doing something good and they will try to do the same thing, and they might do it even better. So the time of competitive advantages for businesses is actually getting smaller. And a great example that I love to talk about all the time is Evernote. Evernote is a great application, is a great software as a service. It's a great freemium model, and a lot of people are using it. But Google came out with the same solution for free, and you don't have to actually pay to upgrade the Google service on that. So Evernote is in a little trouble because of that, because they charge you to get access to premium features where Google gives them to you for free. So, the time of competitive advantage for Evernote, they stop innovating, I think, and they charge for something that Google does for free. There's a beautiful book that I actually read a few years ago. It's called How Would Google Do It by Jeff Jarvis. And the first statement on that book goes like, it doesn't matter what you do, just come and do it better and for free. So that's the opening statement on that book. And it is like that. And we cannot think that the big ones are not going to get in an industries. I don't know if you guys are aware that Amazon just bought Whole Foods. Why? Because of data. I mean, Amazon needs Whole Foods data in consumption habits. So Amazon, which we knew as a books marketplace online, is now buying real markets, or real food markets as Whole Foods is. And the transversal variable to all that is data, access to consumers' information. So do not get comfortable in your industries thinking that Google or Amazon might not be a player in your industry one day, because they're getting into electricity, they're getting into energy, more than electricity, sorry. They're getting into energy. Tesla is getting into homes, power systems with the, solar power panels for the homes. They're not cars anymore in the case of Tesla. Google is doing smart cities with Alphabet and getting into dynamic maps in New York. So those guys are, they see a problem and they go for it. So it's a big alarm for us. We have a company called Smart Bimo, where we do online education, and Google is now doing free online education when we charge for the same topic. So they're always a menace for that. So guys, the challenge for us as companies and for us as an agency and for our clients and partners is to achieve constant growth in sales and maintain those clients for long term. You know, clients these days are not loyal. If you think about your parents and my parents, they're loyal to the same brands, the same shoes, the same cars. My dad is driving the same brand for the last 25 years and wearing the same brand of shoes and jeans. But in my case, I'm not that loyal, and I'm sure my kids are going to keep just getting worse and worse. So I think a big question we should be asking ourselves is how are we going to retain those clients? How are we going to retain those customers when they're not loyal to anything anymore? When price is not even a factor anymore. It's all value and it's about being useful to them. So guys, the solution, and this is a very, very strong concept these days. It's, you know, from try to close and sell every day to help, essentially. Always be helping instead of always be closing or always be selling. It's always be helping, be useful. We believe that the brands that are useful are the ones that are actually getting more and more relevance. And I don't want to get into all these examples, but of course, you always think about, you know, Amazon and Apple and Google and Facebook and how those guys are not only connecting people but also helping people. And there are smaller companies as well. If we think about maybe our categories in consumer packaged goods, ways of how can we be helping our audiences and our target, our consumer, beyond just feeding them or, you know, like helping them in the way they live, beyond consumption, you know, beyond food, beyond what they wear, and we actually become useful for their lives. So go from always be closing to always be helping, and ask yourself, how's your brand helping today's consumers? Because the only way you're going to keep them around, the only way they're going to actually always be close to you is if you're helping them, because they're not going to come to you to buy you anything. They're going to come to you because you're going to help them, and then ergo, they're going to buy you. That's the very, very simple journey that I want you to keep in mind. So we always say that there are two ways of selling. One of them is trying to convince people. The second one is trying to educate them and teach them. And trust me on this one, guys. If you teach your audiences, your consumer, your target something, they're always going to come back for more, because there is one trait that is always going to be relevant, and it's information and education. And we can always teach them something. It doesn't matter if you do snacks, or it doesn't matter if you do you know, I don't know, makeup. It doesn't matter if you do cars. You can, or if you make cars, you can always teach them something, and they're always going to come back for more knowledge. So there are essentially three phases to that: awareness, consideration, and decision. And of course, it's good to create awareness with good ideas, with good creativity, with good messages. But remember that if you're just doing tactical, creative ideas, they're always going to see you for a second, for a glimpse, and they're going to go somewhere else where the light shines brighter. So that's why I always say that education is the best type of awareness. When you teach them something, that creates long-term awareness. When you show them something, that creates temporary awareness. So it's super, super important to create awareness based on education. And once they are actually considering the options, if you're teaching them something and if you're actually being relevant to their lives, they don't have to consider anything. They're going to go straight to decision, because of course, you're not only selling them you know, snacks or makeup or cars, but you're teaching them something, and they're ready to convert, and the prospect is ready to actually make a call. So remember, the long run when it comes to awareness and consideration comes from education. When you teach them something, not when you show them something bright or cute or pretty or celebrities or whatever. That thing is easily forgotten, not education. Okay? So the big solution to these guys is educational content. It is very, very simple. We see brands, and we actually do it for our clients all the time, where we go live on Facebook, we go live on Instagram, and instead of telling them about our products, we're giving them tips on how to make up, or how to actually become an adult in that transition, or how to actually learn to dance, or how to something from scratch when it comes to our kids' brands and so on. So remember, when we, and I'm very, very happy to actually tell you that we're translating a couple books on how to actually do Facebook inbound with $1 a day, and how to go live, and how to actually do social media. And then, guys, the best way to create awareness, give people white papers, give them ebooks, give them something that they can actually download, and you get the data. I mean, of course, that is a transaction. You just don't give it for free. You put a book out, you put a white paper out, you put a good video out, and then you ask them for something in return. I remember this idea I saw a few years ago, and that was before all this, that I will never forget. I think it was HBO's True Blood, and I know this is not the category, but I just want to give you the first example I saw of this, and I'll never forget. I think this was 2011. True Blood was launching a new season of the show, HBO's True Blood show, and a very cool way of doing that, they did a landing page where they would release the trailer only if they got to, I don't know, I think 500,000 tweets, and people will fill up a form for that content, for that trailer, and people did it. And I was like, whoa, that was the first time I actually realized that people are willing to trade their data, their information, if you give them something they want. And they always want education, they always want content. So here at Asylum, we're doing a lot of that, and that's why, of course, you guys are here on this webinar. And we're doing a lot of white papers and books for people to, download and use, and that's giving us their information, and we get to know them because we know what they want. Then for the evaluation phase, well, we do webinars, and we do case studies, and we do demo videos, and we give them data sheets. And I'm going to show you a couple of data sheets that are super exciting to us, and I'm going to show you how we're actually crossing data in real time, and in a real-time visualization platform for us to learn what's selling the most and who is actually selling it when it comes to influencer marketing and so on. That's going to be super exciting. So stay with me till the end. Guys, free trials, live demos, consultation, coupons. That's always something that people appreciate. So remember, the transversal value to all this is education. Teach them something, don't convince them. I do believe, or we believe here at the agency, that the times for marketing that convinces people is over. Of course, we're in the times of marketing that is based on stories and education. It's just that very simple, and we want you to make that shift in your head. So this is how people look for content. How do I get curled eyelashes? And you can go on Google and see in Google Trends how people are actually looking for this type of content. And then you see that what's funny about this, especially in the makeup category, in the beauty category, most of the content is not even created by brands. They started late last year and this year. But you see people like this girl, Mireya Beauty, that she uploaded this video like 4 years ago, I believe, in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And this video is still the first one that shows up. And how is she selling her products down there? Well, you can see the video, she's giving you the content, and underneath you can see the products, but she's actually giving you tips for that. So this is a great example. This is not new at all. But what's funny to us is that brands still are not doing this. They're not creating useful content. They're just creating still commercials and ads that put the product in your face. Who wants to see that? When was the last time you click on a banner? When was the last time you even click on Google AdWords to actually buy something? And that's essentially what we're trying to accomplish with this webinar. So the big solution, educational content. I'm sure you've heard of BuzzFeed and the Chive and the Huffington Post and all those big platforms that actually in the last few years are taking over the internet. Why? Because they're giving you tips. They're giving you educational content. They're giving you 25 ways of doing something. They give you 10 tips to avoid X or Y thing. They're giving you 5 things you didn't know about X or Y city, and so on. So the big value to inbound, or the big key to inbound marketing, is educational content. Try to make it short, try to make videos, try to make it in lists. People online, they like to read lists. If you tell them 10 ways to do something instead of a big essay on how to do the same thing, they're going to be more suitable to read it. And we actually have a lot of cases that prove that. So, for example, we did this for a client here in the US, where we create this Facebook tab, and we try to exchange content with them, but we also ask them behavioral questions. So what is your favorite workout? And they will tell us. when do you like to work out, in the morning and in the afternoon. And this product or this brand is in the nutritional category, like milkshakes and all that stuff that you would take to work out. Do you take protein, yes or no? How much do you spend a month? And all this data, which is quantitative and qualitative data, we start analyzing in real time and actually understanding our behavior, our consumers' behavior, because guys, also, we want you to understand that we're in the personalization era of marketing, essentially. The more personalized you can deliver the content, the solution, and the product itself via the content, the better you're going to be doing. And that's also one thing that we developed a very, very strong capability here at Asylum, which is personalizing experiences through qualitative and quantitative data, like this example. What did we do with this? We put all these guys in buckets. We knew that the CrossFitters that would like to work out in the morning, we had their names, their email addresses, their phones, and we would give them content in the morning. But the dancers who like Zumba, they would do it at night, and then we would give them different data and different content. And obviously, we would do product recommendation at the end, and then we were able to increase sales on this client by, I cannot give you the exact percentage, but it was big increase in sales thanks to this strategy, because we were able to personalize not only the email marketing, but also the social media content and even the experience on store. Remember, and we wanted to forget about the concept of being viral. Everyone wants to be viral online, but remember, it's better to have 500 customers than 1 million followers. You don't want to have 1 million people following that don't buy anything from you. You rather have 500 followers. So do not get obsessed with the numbers. Get obsessed with the question, am I educating them? Am I teaching them? Am I actually giving them value in my content? So educate them and make sure that they learn, because if they learn, they're going to come back. And if they come back, they're going to buy anything you're selling. So we're going to talk about some best practices that we want to, share with you. So, guys, one very, very important thing when it comes to inbound marketing is that you really need to create archetypes or buyer personas of those people. We always recommend to create like 3 subgroups of buyer personas, where you don't only know where they are and if they're married or not. You actually know what they do. You need to understand what time they get up, if they train in the morning, if they're married, they have kids, what kind of work they do. And then based on that, you're going to be able to teach them more. Remember that if in the basic education system, the people come to the university with a decision made in which program, whether they want to study or not, right? Here, the challenge is that you actually have to go and find them and then prospect them and then create archetypes and then deliver the content, because they don't even know what they want. And this is the difference between actually having a university where they come to you with knowing what they want to study versus you reaching out to them by inbound and then understanding if they're interested in the content that you're giving them. So super important knowing the background, demographics, of course, identifiers, goals, what do they want from their lives, challenges, how can we help them, common objections, of course, and real quotes. So super, super important when it comes to create archetypes and inbound marketing strategies. So super, super also important asking yourself, like, why is this content relevant for that person? What are their concerns? How are they consuming information? One of the big mistakes we see in strategies these days is that brands are choosing their own touch points. They want to be everywhere. They want to have a YouTube channel and they want to be in Snapchat because their kids are on Snapchat. They want to do a website because everyone's browsing websites. But at the end of the day, their consumer is on Pinterest. Why? Because they're women looking for wedding dresses and maybe decoration tips. So it is super important, especially to understand where are these people consuming information. And that's what we call affinity. Of course, Facebook is the biggest social network in the world, but is it the most used one? Is it where people are spending more time? No, it's not. It's actually Instagram where people are spending more time today. So it is very, very important to understand the affinity and where people are consuming information. Here are some questions, like sample questions, in the sense that, like how to develop a buyer persona archetype, if you will. So what is your job role, your title? What kind of industry are you in? What are you working to accomplish? What are your biggest challenges? How do you learn about guys? And I'm sure that you don't do maybe polls to do this, but you know what's the best way to do this? Through social media. When you do live content, when you do actually set questions on Facebook statuses or even Instagram or Twitter, just get that data when people answer and then put them on Excel sheets or even better Google Sheets, and then you can visualize them in real time and then make decisions. So when it comes to the buyer's journey in the sales cycle map, remember that in the very awareness stage, always is about brand positioning. But brand positioning, not the logo, guys. The logo needs to be little and in a corner. This brand positioning is with knowledge, with information, giving them something, okay? In the consideration stage, you know what people share the most? How-tos, tips, maybe always be educational. Do you know why Uberfax got so big? Because they always, Uberfax is one of the biggest accounts in Instagram and Twitter in the world, by teaching us very simple things we didn't know about nature, about businesses, about brands, about sports, and so on. And then the decision stage, then you tell them where to buy and how to buy what you do. When it comes to campaign and execution, guys, it's super, super important to ask yourselves 4 questions on this pyramid that we want to actually share with you. First, self-analysis. Where are you at? What is your brand doing for the audience, for the consumer? Are you actually giving a customer-centric solution, or is just a capability-centric solution? Are you talking about yourself, or are you talking about what they need? Then risk management and optimization. Of course, when you do digital, there's a risk. It doesn't work. That's why KPIs and data is so important. That's why one of our main capabilities here at Asylum is actually data management and key performance indicator visualization, if you will. I'm going to show you that in a bit. Bear with me. Predictability and growth, which is projecting your results. Of course, you need to understand what's going to happen and if your results are growing or not. And sustainability. Is this sustainable? Can I actually do this in a couple months? Is it going to keep working? Guys, we always say that in order to do online marketing, you need to focus on 3 things. One of them is sales, if you're actually selling online. If you're not, number 2, gathering databases. How are you gathering your consumers' information? And then number 3, of course, recommendation. How people are actually recommending you. How many people do we have online? Okay, almost 40 people. That's amazing. Thank you for being here, guys. Welcome to the new ones that are coming. Remember that this webinar is going to be recorded, and we're going to put it on our platform in case you actually miss the first slides. And if you have any questions, I would love to read them at the very end. I don't see any questions on the bar, and I would love to get some questions or feedback, or even if you want to share ideas with us on how you're actually doing this educating your audience. So additional takeaways for these guys is that best practices are at the starting point, not where it should end up. Remember that if you start your strategy by giving value and giving education and teaching your consumers something about their lives that they didn't know, you're going to actually add value. We don't want you to deliver value with education at the very end. You don't pull them, to you with sales. You actually bring them to you with content. So start by educating them. Create customized audiences. It doesn't matter where you read. I dare you to go on Google and type in something like digital trends or technology trends in 2017. Every single blog is going to talk to you about personalization of the experiences and the content and so on. Everything is about personalizing experiences and so on. I'm going to show you how we're doing that here at Asylum. In order to change the status quo, we must first completely understand it, guys. So what's actually what's making a difference in your audience's life? What's making a difference in their families, in their work place, at the school and so on. So you need to understand their pain, their questions, their fears, their pleasures, their whatever makes them happy and so on. So I hope that with this very short webinar, you had a better idea why inbound marketing is so important. Remember, we're not selling anybody, we're solving problems. And if we solve a problem, they will buy from you, whatever you have for them. But if you try to sell them, if you don't have strong competitive advantage and no competitors, which is unrealistic these days, then it's impossible to sell. Think about demand generation from a different perspective. Remember that the way to generate demand these days is by being useful and thinking like a CEO. I would love to, if you have any questions, this is my email. I would love to show you something that we're actually doing on the visualization field. I'm going to make sure that you can actually see my screen. Remember, if you have any comments, if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, you can put them on the comments bar. I would love to answer them. So guys, this is something we're doing here at Asylum with one of our companies, Smart Bimo. It's an education marketplace and so on. But I want to tell you how are we actually selling on this platform, and how we're becoming one of the main education marketplaces in the world with our products, and essentially all inbound. So we do have a channel on YouTube, Smart Bimo, where we actually do webinars and people come and we have thousands of followers on there. But what we're doing here is that we're actually doing data analytics in real time in our platform, where we know where people are coming from. Oh, surprise, like I was telling you, Instagram is our main sales source. What do? We sell education courses, we sell marketing courses, we sell online training programs, and see, Instagram is actually our main source of conversion. And what we're doing here is that we're pulling data from Google Analytics to see why people are coming. And if you go to our Instagram, it's in Spanish, but we're trying to do educational content, just tips on how to add value on Facebook, tips on how to start as an entrepreneur on online marketing, tips on how to sell via Instagram, and so on. So Instagram is our main source, if you will, as you can see on my screen. I want to show you also something we're doing, and you know that we're on the big era of influencers. Influencer marketing is super solid, and that's why we're developing capabilities here at Asylum with the main influencers in the world to generate demand with real real recommendations. So we have a bunch of influencers, and here the orange line is traffic, the blue one is sales. So what we're trying to analyze here is like when a story or a live format or a post sells for us based on the influencer. So that's how we're lowering the CPA, or the cost per acquisition of sales. And also I do need to know how many traffic, how many hundreds of visitors do I need to $100, which is my basic ticket. So this is super important. And what I was telling you about, data analytics is, and I know that you guys are consumer packaged goods, but I wanted to give you an example in real time, and this is the only one that I have here with me, on how we're actually selling and creating demand. All these guys, we're bringing them with education, okay? So remember that we're on the times also of data visualization and demand based on influencers. We know that you guys are selling on store. We know that this is our example that we're doing on online, selling via online. But my point with this example is that we don't have a store, but these people who are buying from us, they're buying because they're learning from us. It's that simple. They're learning from us. You can see our YouTube channel, almost 100,000 views. You can see our Instagram page, almost more than 40,000 people that are coming to learn from us. We don't sell them anything. We're just teaching them. And then at the very end of that lesson, we introduce the products. So our big advice for you guys here is that it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're makeup or snacks or whatever you do. You always have something to teach. And it's not going to be how you make your snacks. It's maybe how to actually have a better family reunion, how to celebrate a soccer game with your friends better, how to actually look more beautiful for a first date, how to get makeup under 5 minutes when you're in a rush, how to dress up for your first day of college. All those kids are looking for that kind of information. They need it. So it is time for brands like you guys to start delivering it, because one of the things that actually is kind of concerning is that if you type on YouTube how to, tips for makeup or tips on how to dress up better or how to actually celebrate the Super Bowl and so on, all the content, the main content comes from users, not even from brands. And that's a big shout out to you brands, to us agencies, to start, like using this opportunity to give them this kind of content. And that's why, again, here at Asylum, as a consumers packaged good agency, we're trying to change the mindset of our clients and giving them strategies based on solutions to their audiences. We study their audiences with real-time data. We know what their questions are. We have listening tools. We know what they're talking about. We know we have a standard deviation models where we know when something is trendy in each of the categories in the US and the world. And based on that, we create content in real time. We're writing basically in real time solutions, and we generate demand in real time based on what people are looking for, searching for, what they actually need. And then the brand becomes a hero brand, not an interrupted brand. And that's the whole logic beside beyond inbound marketing, and instead of pulling people to you, or instead of outbound doing inbound marketing. So we hope you have enjoyed this webinar. Remember, if you want to have maybe talk to me one-on-one, maybe tell me more about your business, maybe sharing some ideas, here is my email. Please do not hesitate. And if you have any questions on YouTube, I would love to actually take them. If you have any also ideas or things that you want to share with us, that would be amazing. So interesting. Thank you so much, Eddie, for your comments. Thanks to everyone who came to the webinar. We're going to keep doing more of these. And if you keep coming, we'll do more. And if you have any topics in mind that you would like us to cover, just shoot me an email. And I would love to work on some different topics that might be your own concerns, and keep adding value with our content. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys soon. If you have any questions, again, shoot them to my email. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of week.